What's going on, guys? This is Kickback here with another Animal Jam video, and in today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about items that break Animal Jam Classic. Now, what I actually mean by this is items that behave the way they shouldn't actually be behaving in the game, items that were actually attempted to be deleted from the files but were accidentally left in, and test items or glitched items that were never even supposed to be in the game in the first place. Just like my previous list videos, I will specify which kind of item is which as I go through, but without further ado, let's just hop right into it. So first we have here actual eyes and patterns of animals as actual items in the game. Now, the reason why these are actual items in the game or wherever in the game in the first place is because that's how eyes and patterns actually work for your animals. They equip your animal as items, but obviously it doesn't show in your inventory, it shows on that separate tab on the side. Now, a couple of these have legitimately got into the game, but considering how many have been in the game, it's safe to say that there's probably one for every single variant in every eye and every pattern hidden in the files. However, I think the ones that legitimately got into the game was this purple eye here you can see on screen right now, an eye in a pure magenta format similar to this one that you can see on screen right now, and then also covered in a previous list video, which you can check in the top right corner if you haven't already. This was also in the game, which is the legendary eagle pattern, and that was brought into the game as well. Now, how these items actually perform, they perform like normal kind of patterns and eyes. So if you equip this, if it was in your inventory, it would show up as like a normal kind of eye or pattern on your animal. However, if you kept this in your inventory and refreshed, this item would delete itself, and this behaves similar to a item that I will get into later on into the list, but that is the eyes and patterns as actual items. Now, next up here, this isn't technically an item, but I think it would suit this video very well because it doesn't really actually get talked about that much anymore, and I don't think it really happens that much anymore, but this is the actual Arctic wolf and snow leopard icon as actual items. Now, you can see them on screen right now. This usually happens when trading for underwater items, it seems, when you're on land. I'm not too sure why. This was a prominent glitch way back in like 2014 at the latest. It doesn't really happen that much anymore. I have no idea why this actually happens. Could be just a simple glitch that's caused by the items in general, but it really doesn't make sense that these icons of land animals would show up on actual items of underwater animals. Now, you can also see these badges as well, which I would also relate to this image here, which is just a simple clothing shop glitch, it seems, which also showed the Arctic wolf icon in there. So I don't know if this is just kind of a result of a glitch in the game and the game doesn't know what to do, so it just throws this out, or what. However, I thought it would be cool to include on this list. Next here we have the Beta Days item. Now, this is actually supposed to be a music track for your den based off the beta party and the soundtrack that plays in that party, as you can hear it in the background right now. Now, it's unknown why this was never actually released into the game or why it was never finished. However, this item actually remains in the files as a totally invisible item, as you can see on the screen right now. However, again, as said, this kind of comes from the beta party, which was actually just brought back a couple months ago, I'm pretty sure, after a year or so, which a lot of people liked, so it would have made sense for Animal Jam to release this. However, it is unfortunate that they never did. Regardless, you can still listen to this track on YouTube by just a quick search. However, it's unfortunate that you will never actually be able to have it in your den. The next item here is an actual clock. Now, you're probably thinking this is either fake or Photoshop or something. This was an actual item in the game. Obviously, you can already tell why this shouldn't have been in the files in the first place. However, it most likely is a test item, and that can just be said alone due to the style of the item not matching the style of the regular Animal Jam den item style. However, what this item was most likely used for was items that kind of change over time, such as the large large planter item, if you know what that is. It kind of changes in your den over time as it kind of grows in time intervals, and it's most likely used for that, and also genuine clocks in the game that actually are based off your own system's time, so it knows what to display on these kind of items. And it's pretty fair to say that this will never actually get into the game as a legitimate item. Now the next two items here are two old beta days items that were actually attempted to be deleted but weren't actually deleted. Now I actually already covered one of these items in a previous video of mine, being 6389. However, additionally there is also one for the flower carpet, so this is the beta flower carpet along with the beta blue vines, and you can already tell why these shouldn't be in the game and how they kind of break the game here. Straight away they don't have the correct file names, the beta blue vines being 6389 and the flower carpet actually being country music for some reason. Whenever you try to place either of these items in the game in your den, they will not display anything, and strangely enough country music actually shows up with tickets as its currency when actually placed in a shop with third-party programs, so it is definitely quite the glitchy item. However, as said in a previous video that beta blue vines did show in, it's fair to say that we're not going to see these items in the game ever again. Now next here is a test item which actually resembles the epic phantom throne. Now I presume this was actually made as a test item to kind of test the shadow on the side of it. As you can see there's like a purple shadow, and it was probably used as a test item to test the collisions with this item with other items and just dens in general. This item was actually released as an actual item for members, I believe. Not that interesting, but still pretty cool in my opinion to say the least. The next two items here are actually Magenta items, but they are in the files as actual items and they are supposed to be this way. This is the Magenta Spartan Helmets and the Magenta Bow and Arrows. Now interestingly enough, both of these items are unnamed. They have totally no name attached to them. And additionally, the Spartan Helmet is non-member, so if you don't know, Spartan Helmets usually come in members only, yet it is non-member here. If I had to conspirize what these were actually for, I would say these were put into the game when these items were initially made and they were just kind of used as test items. I don't see why else they would put these into the game. Maybe just for quick recolors whenever they are making recolored items of these two items in specific. I know they do have a good few recolors to both of these items. I'm not too sure, however, they are quite the interesting pair of items to say the least. Another item that was in a previous video of mine makes another reappearance. This is the pet ferret den item. Now, this isn't just the pet ferret here, this is for all pets in general. They all have their own specified den item in the den item files, but aren't actual pets, if that makes any sense. I've already explained how the pet ferret den item got into the game in general. However, as said previously, there is one for every single pet in the game. If you want to know how these actually got into the game, I would recommend watching my previous list video to learn more about that. Next here is the test ice cream cake freezer, which was later on made an actual item. However, this is the test variant of it. Not too sure why they had a test version of the item. However, it is something to look at. This was in stores actually for a very short period of time, and this is the screenshot of that. It was never actually bought by that person, I don't think, so it was never legitimately in the game. Obviously, this test ice cream cake freezer had all of the other regular variants of the ice cream cake freezer as well. But I have to imagine it was probably trying to test out the collision and the animation of the actual item itself. Otherwise, I don't know why they would make a test version of this item. However, pretty funny item to actually have a test item of it. Next here we have test item, and that's pretty much it. This is a totally invisible item, and that's pretty much all that is entailed to it. You can see why this isn't an actual item in the game. It is totally invisible and it has no properties to it at all. My best guess is it's used as a template for when they are actually using or creating new den items, but otherwise this is the test item, I guess. The next item here we have test. This is a purple block and you can see it on screen right now. This was probably used to kind of test out what 3D items would look like in the game, or try to make items look like they're 3D, similar to an item like a horse coin. It looks like it's 3D the way it's spinning, however it is just a bunch of 2D images collided together. That is probably what this item was used to test out in the game, and it's theorized it is that because of the shading and how the cube actually is. Pretty funny item though, considering it is just kind of a purple block that you can see, but definitely one of the funniest items on the list, to say the least. Then the final item here is the test cloud. This is just a normal snow cloud, but it's just called a test cloud and it is non-member as well. As the name kind of implies here, it was probably used to test out weather effects on clouds in general before they actually did release them. However, this did later on become an item, as I said, that being the snow cloud, as well as all the other weather clouds in the game as well. But yeah guys, that's pretty much gonna wrap up this list video for here. Let me know what your guys' favorite item on this list was in the comment section below. Mine definitely has to be the clock because it's just so obscure and different from all of the other items on this list. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up here. As I said, make sure to subscribe with notifications on if you guys do want to be notified on future videos, as well as videos just like this one. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy today's video, and let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.